Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for December of 2022. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
I'm Julia Mijas in Pioneer, California.
Well, Scorpio, if this is your sun sign and you missed your annual birthday reading this year, it's not too late to get oriented to your personal new year and all it holds for you, including answers to your questions about finance, which might well come up in this horoscope because the second house is rather busy. You'll find a link to help you get that birthday reading in the text that comes with this video. Well, wonderfully, the Juno retrograde that's been going on since July is not only completely over, but really beginning to fade from our consciousness. And so if you have had any relationship kerfuffles and struggles and reevaluation of your relationship that's gone on since July, now is the time when all of that stuff can finally be laid to rest. You can say goodbye to that until the next time Juno goes retrograde, which is actually the beginning of 2024. So we get a break from that. And if you want to find out more about that, you should check our July news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, where you'll find our video about Juno retrograde this year. So Ceres starts the month in Virgo right here in your 11th house. And I'm not going to speak to that because I did in last month's horoscope, but I'm going to show you that Ceres in the middle of the month moves on into your 12th house. And that Ceres is all about finances and good stewardship. She is about taking good care in the physical sense of the things in your life that need it, such as your physical body, how you feed your body, and how you manage your money, and any souls in your charge that you might take care of, such as children or pets. So Ceres entering in the 12th house is a little bit weary. She's been traveling all around your chart, and as she enters into the 12th house, this is a place of rest. This is a place of chilling. This is a place of oasis and retreat and solitude. So I think that Ceres would really like to take a load off and just coast for the next 2 months financially. And if you can figure out how to make your budget as simple as possible so that you don't have any big expenditures in the next couple of months, you might instead spend your money on some form of retreat or escape from the world, so that you can relax. And you might consider how you can simplify your budget, for the future. Ceres will be in this house for about 2 months, and she really just doesn't want to do a lot while she's here. And then the next thing I want to tell you about is that Jupiter begins the month in Pisces right here. And I spoke about this last month, but this month Jupiter is speeding up, having now gone direct and moves into Aries, where he was earlier this year in your 6th house, bringing a lot of energy and verve and excitement and enthusiasm and even charisma and luck and opportunity to your 6th house arena of work, health, and service. So if you've been trying to solve a health problem, you might look into, just the right solution to that, or the right health provider to help you deal with that while Jupiter is passing along your 6th house. Or there might be some luck in the arena of work, in the sense that if you are feeling restless at your job and like you really just want to make a big change this year, now could be the time to do it, and this month in particular, and especially towards the end of the month, as Jupiter is moving quickly through your 6th house and for several months to come. If you are looking to change your job, this is absolutely the time to be looking. Beef up your LinkedIn presence, fix your resume, apply to job positions, this is the time to do it. Hey, Julia, what about that Mars retrograde?
Oh my God, Scorpio, you definitely have to hear about this. So
Mm.
Mars has been retrograde for a little while now. This cycle happens about once every 2 years, so less frequently than Mercury retrograde. So in many ways, a bit more significant. And this cycle, whenever Mars, because that's a planet of action and activity, goes retrograde, it's a time of redoing things. Now, this is all taking place in your 8th house. This is a house of other people's money. So not the money you earn from your own salary or paycheck or business, but more the money you earn through shared resources with other people. That could be a joint credit card with your partner. That could be an inheritance with your family, as well as things like mortgages, loans, stocks, other types of investments, crypto, all that kind of stuff. So Mars retrograde in the 8th can be a bit of a frustrating time with finances, especially if you apply for a loan or a mortgage. You might have to redo it again at some point. And then on December 7th, this is an important day to keep track of because that's when Mars is exactly opposed the sun, and we call that maximum frustration day. So that could be a time period where you really, really feel this cycle. The 8th house also represents other things like research and investigation. So if you've been digging away at something, you might have to redo your conclusions, whether that's a research paper for school, whether that's something you're investigating in your personal life too. So be prepared for that. Then Venus, this is a little bit lighter because Venus represents art, beauty, and relationships. She starts the month in your 2nd house. So the 2nd house is the house of your own personal income. It's also the house of your possessions, like your car, your jewelry, your collectibles, your furniture, all that kind of stuff. And Venus in the 2nd house tends to be very indulgent because the 2nd house is ruled by Taurus. So you might want to be indulging your own body a lot more with like good food, massages, buying nice things, acquiring new things, because this is the 2nd house. And even if you're getting frustration in all things other people's money because of that Mars retrograde in your 8th, in terms of your own money, in terms of your own paycheck, you might be getting a little bit more luck, especially maybe with an end of the year bonus if it's happening around this time. So a little bit easier on money just in terms of what you're making this month versus what you share with other people. Then on December 9th, Venus enters your 3rd house. This is a house of communication. It rules your siblings and cousins. Since this is happening around the holidays, you could be getting along really well with your brothers and sisters and cousins too, if you're close with them as well. Venus in the 3rd is a lovely transit for also finding more harmony and peace in your own local surroundings, maybe even feeling a bit more festive with your neighbors, for example. And if you do any writing, this can be a wonderful cycle for finding pleasure in any writing you have to do for school or your job or your personal life. And Venus adds more luck to your communication style. So if you have to smooth out anything with anybody else, you can articulate yourself a lot more diplomatically with Venus in the 3rd. Then finally, I do want to talk about Mercury. That planet actually rules your mind. Wherever we have it, we tend to be very preoccupied. And for about the first week of the month, the first 6 days, Mercury starts in your 2nd house. So again, you'll be thinking a lot about money. You'll be preoccupied with it. You could also be communicating more about your values, which are also ruled by the 2nd house. And Mercury in the 2nd, since Mercury is the planet of buying and selling, this might be a good cycle to kind of sell things that you no longer need in order to perhaps get the funds to acquire some new stuff that would suit you better. On the 6th, Mercury goes into your 3rd house. So Mercury and Venus are going to spend a lot of time in the 3rd house together this month. And again, that's going to add maybe increased communications with your brothers and sisters, getting more texts and phone calls with them. This could be also a busy time for you to be doing a lot of trips around your neighborhood because Mercury is a travel planet and the 3rd house is the house of short journeys. Now, just to keep a heads up here, on the 29th, so kind of at the end of the month, Mercury is going to go retrograde in this house. And you might even be feeling it about a week beforehand as Mercury slows down in the sky. So even though this month can be good for communications with Venus and Mercury in the 3rd house, by the end, maybe by the last week, communications might start going a little bit haywire. So expect to have to go back over conversations again. And if you aren't taking any short trips, like let's say your family is near you, or you are going to spend the holiday with friends in the same town, there might be some delays and frustrations along the way too.
Yep, that can sure happen with Mercury retrograde. So I want to tell you about the 2 moons of the month and the seasonal change. The first moon happens on December 7th. It's a full moon in Gemini, opposite that sun in Sagittarius. And the moon is hanging out with Mars, which Julia mentioned a little while ago. Mars retrograde in your 8th house, and all of the themes around shared finances, debt, loans, those sorts of things, and how when Mars is retrograde, there may be some irritation and frustration due to having to go back and do things again that weren't done properly in the first place. So this lining up with the full moon brings a high emotion to the situation. And so beware of arguments with somebody that you share finances in, or somebody that you've invested in, somebody maybe that you're married to, or a business partner, or somebody that you support financially, let's say, and beware of getting into arguments with them about the situation and how things are arranged in it. So that one we're calling impulsive opinions meet pushback. That's what we've named that moon, and you can find out more about it on our website, pandoraastrology.com, in the forecast tab, where we generally have the videos that we've made for the month's news. Then we have the seasonal change happening around the 21st, depending, of course, on your time zone. We have the sun leaving Sagittarius and your 2nd house and moving on into Capricorn and your 3rd house. Now, the sun to me represents the light of high quality attention, because the sun sheds its light on the earth and things grow as a result and are nourished by that sunlight. So wherever the sun travels in your chart, you want to bring your high quality attention so that things can grow and flourish there. This is a house of learning and information. It is a house of curiosity and communication. It is also a house of your immediate neighborhood and environment, and people that are right around you all the time, such as siblings or neighbors, as Julia has been saying. And over the course of the month, there's a lot of the planets start the month in the 2nd house. So there's a very big emphasis on finances at the beginning of the month, but it all begins to shift into an emphasis on communication and neighborhood here at the end of the month. So as the sun moves into this house, this is a really good time to put some high quality attention on the environment right around you. Say hello to that neighbor across the street, when they come and pick up their mail. Put out some flowers out front. That might also be a good approach just for the Venus placement here in this house. Make your neighborhood a nicer place to be, and improve on your communication and your connections with housemates or siblings, so that even after the sun moves out of this house, which it will do after 30 days, you can continue to have, great connections with the people right around you. Then we have the final moon of this month, which is a new moon in Capricorn right here on December 23rd. The sun and the moon meet up together in this 3rd house of communication that I've been talking about, really showing the final, migration of all the planets here into the 3rd house and bringing so much emphasis to this arena. And this is the moon that happens the closest to the winter holiday. And this particular one does seem to have a really strong family theme embedded in it, because we have the sun and the moon together, and they're squaring Ceres, which is also a mother figure. Ceres is the physical mother who, when you're little, feeds you and teaches you how to dress and eat and sleep and, how to take care of your physical self. Whereas the moon is the emotional mother that feels and intuits and has that, women's intuition that we've been told about. And so the conflict between Ceres and the moon could spell some stress for the holidays, but Jupiter is here to add a festive feel. So this particular moon, we're calling it transactional family relationships, and you might even feel like family relationships are particularly transactional this year. They might feel a little bit cool and crusty, and like you have to, either give a hug or feel genuinely connected, but not both at the same time. And so you must wend your way through it and draw on that, the more upbeat and playful and fun-loving Jupiter placement that's embedded in this moon also. So you can find out about both of these moons on our YouTube channel too, in the news playlist there, and that can fill in some of the gaps of, what we say here in a horoscope where we have limited time. So that's what we've got for you today, Scorpio. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can find out more about the moons and Mars retrograde on the forecast page on our website, pandoraastrology.com. And on our website, you can book a reading or take a class. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.